I have to start by saying that I need to express a little bit of tshuva to the entire Metro Detroit area, because anyone who had the misfortune of being anywhere near me on Wednesday was greeted with a rabbi who's not normally the way that he was on Wednesday. To say that I was grumpy would be too kind. I was in a bad mood. I was in a very, very bad mood. There have been other things that were going on throughout the week, and I don't know if you've noticed, but right in front of my house it looks like there's an archaeological excavation. So that even just trying to go home, the 1-minute drive from here back to my house, I have to wait in traffic to go to my driveway. All of these different things had been building up, and on Wednesday there was just this culmination. Everything had just come to a boiling point, and I was mad. I was angry. And just tangentially, I probably shouldn't even share this part, but this all culminated in the end with the afternoon of Wednesday when I'm driving back home, and someone on this service road right here going towards Telegraph pulls out in front of me and almost misses me by maybe a couple of feet, and I just slammed on my brakes, and I gave that person a honking that lasted probably 10 seconds, and was shooting daggers out of my eyes, where this person clearly thought that I was blaming them for every bad thing that's ever happened in the history of the world. And somehow, inside me, I actually justified this and thought to myself, that person knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that I was having a horrible day, he knew how angry I was, and he did it to spite me. These are the things that we can think when we're so angry, when we're so filled with all of this negative energy, with this bad karma that's coming with us. It's just negative, and it just fills us with these ideas where we justify how angry we're going through the world. And so I get home, and of course I do the smart and intelligent and responsible thing when you're in a bad mood and you need to be able to calm down and relax. What do? You go on Facebook and read what everyone else is saying online, right? And shockingly, that didn't make me feel better on Wednesday. Because I got online and I opened up my Facebook account and I looked at everything going on, and everyone was saying, look at this person, look how horrible this person is, look how horrible this person is. It was toxic. And I just found myself agreeing and nodding my head and saying, yeah, absolutely. And then for someone else was saying something like, how could they say that? They don't know what they're thinking. Why would they ever say something so rude? And it just kept getting worse and worse. It kept snowballing and snowballing and snowballing. And then I saw a post. I saw a post on Facebook nestled in all of this vitriol and hatred from our own Steve Hurwitz. Hi, buddy. And in the middle of all of these Facebook posts, Steve Hurwitz has a post that says, why don't you tell me something good that happened to you this week? And I read that and I got so mad. Because I'm like, Steve, what are you talking about? Nothing good happened this week. What do you mean, tell me something good that happened this week? So with this animosity building up, I click on the comments to see what these fools are saying about all the good things that happened to them in the week. And there they were, post after post of babies being born, of people saying, I'm just happy to be part of your family, of people saying, I've missed you, we haven't caught up in a long time, I'd love for us to get a cup of coffee. Over 70 people commenting and saying, this is one good thing that's happened to me this week. And I felt so silly. I didn't. I felt awful. Because this past week has been a week that's been filled with blessings for me. I'm going to Israel on Tuesday. The opportunity to celebrate with my in-laws during their anniversary. I'm surrounded by family and this congregation, and there's a life filled with blessings. And I took this idea of what Steve had been posting and all of these different responses, and I carried it with me into Thursday. And if we remember back 2 days ago, it wasn't easy to keep that blessing going, because it didn't take long before news from Annapolis came. And I had to read about people losing their lives, and I'm trying to uphold this idea of blessing. And everything that I had, all of this energy that I carried with me, I was so worried was on the brink of deflating. But then that evening, we had an opportunity to greet the USY on Wheels group coming through, who always come through Shaarey Zedek because they love coming here. And I met with those kids, and they asked if they could come into the sanctuary because the sanctuary is so beautiful. And I said, of course. And they asked if they could daven Mariv in here. And I said, of course. And then we went out into the pavilion, and they asked if they could sing. And I said, of course. And so I sat in a circle with a bunch of teenagers from across this country who talked about what was happening in Annapolis, and their response was to learn a song. They asked me to print out copies of Vehisha Amda, and they learned Vehisha Amda together, and they're going to be singing it through the rest of their trip, through the rest of the summer, every single night before they go to sleep. And on Friday morning, yesterday morning, I had the opportunity to perform a conversion that is still filling me with joy. And the tears that have come because of this momentous, joyful occasion that we had yesterday. And then last night, I had this whole sermon prepared that is not related at all to what I'm talking about right now. And then Rabbi Starr spoke last night about what a blessing it would be if God could control our speech the same way that God controls the speech of Balaam, and the same way that God controls the speech of Balaam's donkey. And I recognized that everything that was going on was much more important than anything that I had prepared. Because while I was trying to prepare for this Parashat this week, the irony was completely lost on me that while I was so filled with all of this anxiety and with all of this anger and with all of this frustration, the biggest question of the Parashat is standing right in front of me, and I'm not recognizing it. I'm trying to dig through the rabbinics of what's going on in this story with Balak, with this king of Moab, trying to curse the Israelites, trying to hire this prophet to come and curse this people. And the biggest question that's there that I didn't recognize until last night was this question of, why does he hire someone to curse his enemy rather than bless his own people? And maybe that's the pshat, maybe that's so simple and I just had totally missed it. But think about that for a second. And if the Torah is a mirror, if the Torah serves as this document that is holding up a mirror in front of us and telling us where we are in our own lives, how appropriate was it for me to be asked that question? Why am I looking to curse those around me instead of saying, may we be blessed? May my family be blessed. May my congregation be blessed. How much easier is it to walk through life trying to curse everyone else instead of doing the courageous thing and saying, does anyone have some good news this week? That's it. There's not some deep Kiddush. There's not some secret. It really comes down to an idea of if we're asking for curses or if we're asking for blessings. It's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of ego. It's a matter of saying, are we slaves to ourselves? Or are we slaves or serving something much bigger than us? Something that we're working towards together, something that we're trying to fix, something that we're trying to mend, something that we're trying to add blessings to this world. And you've heard me speak enough. I speak probably too much. So I'm giving you this opportunity now. If you would like to stand up, find someone that you may not have spoken to before, someone you may not know. And if you'd rather not, then talk to the person sitting next to you. But that's all I'm going to offer. Tell you something good that happened this week. Introduce yourself, and then tell the person next to you or the person that you've never spoken with something good that happened to you this week. That's it. Enjoy. And thank you, Steve Hurwitz, for giving blessings instead of curses this week. So please, stand up, find someone that you may not know, introduce yourself, and say one good thing that happened to you this week.